because 1 week from today is the season finale.
Right. Yo, that
Yeah,
is so
yeah.
crazy.
I feel like it went by so fast,
It
but I've
did.
enjoyed it. It's been a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Y'all feel
Definitely.
like that too? Are y'all watching faithfully every week, or is it more like I did it and I don't want to watch? I just
Faithfully, Robin. I
Faithfully.
watch. I watch the 5 o'clock show, the 5:30 show, the 8 o'clock show, the 8:30 show. Come on at
Yeah.
11, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Same here. Listen, we shot for 2.5 months. I'm gonna watch these episodes.
you gonna get these eyeballs. You
Yeah,
gonna get this
I'm
viewership.
gonna watch these episodes. And it's
Same
weird.
here.
It's weird to see it on TV when especially for Deji and I, because we were editing and we've seen every frame, but it's so totally different when you see it on TV and you're
Yeah.
on Twitter and the reactions from the audience.
Mhm.
It's magic, man. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
But I'm curious though, Thomas, and then all of you guys feel free to jump in too. What are you looking for differently, or is it something new, or are you looking at it with fresh eyes the next time? Are you watching it as a viewer, as an actor? Tell me.
I'm watching it as a viewer. You're in this creative process for so long, from the beginning of the production through all the scenes and the acting and the directing and all of that. Then you get to post production, music and editing, and then you're so technically into it that when it comes on TV, it's almost like it's not you. I'm watching my scenes and I'm like, I don't even know that
Yeah.
guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what they call TV magic. So it's an incredible experience for me, for sure.
Oh my goodness, Deji, you're nodding your head like you agree with that.
Yo, it's tough. It's tough. It's like, you spend so much time with it, you know every line and everything, but then at a certain point you just gotta let it go. And so yeah, I'm watching it as a viewer as well. I'm along for the ride. It's a roller coaster for me. I'm surprised at what's happening. I'm feeling something just like everybody else. So it's a different experience.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm definitely watching as a viewer. I watch multiple times as well just to see if I can get something new.
Hmm.
And then I piece things together from previous episodes. I'm like, oh yeah, that's when that came up. So it's always fun. You guys, let's go ahead and get started because let's unpack some stuff as always. Thank you guys, viewers who are watching right now. You are tuned into the live pre-show with the cast of Johnson on Bounce. And all of these guests have been here before, so I want to welcome you back. Thank you for joining us, Marquita, who plays Ari, or Ariana, and let Serena tell it, Sariana, which is played by Terry Abbey. Welcome. We ain't gonna do you like that though. We ain't gonna do you like that. Her name is Ariana on the show, and of course we've got the showrunners and creator of the show, Deji LeRae and Thomas Q Jones. You guys, thanks again for joining me. As always, it's so much fun. I love talking about this show with you guys, and goodness, as
Thanks for having me.
always, let's dive in because we got
Let's do it. Let's do it.
it's not a love triangle. Would you consider it a love triangle? What's going on with Greg and Serena and Ari? Is that a love triangle or not quite?
Nah, it's not a love triangle. It's
Okay.
love triangle. I think is something that is consistent. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's something that like somebody's trying to keep going. I don't think Greg is trying
Mm.
to keep anything going. I think Greg is trying to figure it out. I think Greg is actually trying to put some things to bed, put some things to rest. It wasn't that long ago that he ended his relationship ended with Ariana, and from Greg's perspective, he never really had closure. He never really got past the situation. So this was his chance. Somebody in the audience, somebody on the chat saying Greg should have lied. I mean,
He
Greg
should have like no,
asked off the whole season.
absolutely
You know what I'm
not.
saying? So at some point, Greg got to tell the truth. And
Yes,
I think in
yes.
this situation, Greg was forced to tell the truth.
And you know what? And I'm glad you started there. Let's see, Serena, why did you kick Greg out? Greg out. We're gonna get to that because I want to know as well. That actually brings up a really good question. Here we are talking about Greg, who is like, you know what? I could just dismiss this whole situation and lie about it, but he's gonna go home and talk to his woman Serena because he also knows that she's a good woman. So
Hmm.
let's talk about this situation where that was a big topic. You said men, or as far as yourself, you needed to close one door before you can fully walk through the other. So you were completely open and honest with Serena. but my girl still wasn't having it. She still kicked you out. I have to know. Uh, Obviously, Terry, they want to hear from you. Why'd you kick Greg out? And is it enough, like just taking it away from the show or piecing it with the show? Is it enough for your man to tell you the truth? Or is it like, you know what, I still have my feelings are valid, and I'm going to move forward with this breakup? Terry, talk to me about that.
I could only assume that Serena kicked Greg out because he wasn't upfront. Um, you have a scene where she's in bed with him and she tells him that if you're all in, I'm all in. And because she was she was 100% all in. A lot of people think that she's thirsty and she just wants a ring for fear of maybe missing out or keeping up with the Joneses. Um, I think that it's potentially a little bit deeper than that. I don't know. I'm not the writer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you don't necessarily know like her dating history or what her childhood was like, or what her past relationships have been like. And so, yes, I have Q in one ear gassing me up, saying all of these things, but also I think that Serena could feel that Greg had one foot in and one foot out. And so in a relationship as a woman, I'm always looking for security and I wasn't getting that security from him. And so when I understand that you had dinner with your ex, there were several opportunities for him to be honest, and then we could potentially work that out together. But he did what was best for him, which I can't fault him for, right? Like he needed to figure out what worked for him, but he forgot about me. And in forgetting about me, it feels as if he made his decision. And I watched that scene, which was beautiful, by the way. The scene where the ring was given back.
Yeah.
I love the work between you and Marquita. Um, but my heart dropped watching that scene as a woman and as a viewer, seeing Greg's face when she handed that ring back. And so as a woman, not as Serena, it triggered me. And so I can only imagine that all of the questions and the underlying feelings of what could potentially be happening. You know what I mean? Like Serena has to live with all of the questions, and I'm not so sure he can answer that for me just yet. So I think that's why she kicked him out.
Wow. Wow. That was beautifully stated. And then Marquita, let's go to that scene. And Deji, because I really do want to hear from you, because y'all know, like, I love hearing from the guys, because not only did you write the show, create the show, but you guys both, Thomas and Deji, are able to give so much insight when it comes to men and what they're thinking in situations like this. But let's go to that scene where Ari does give the ring back. And it was such a moment, because I kind of wonder, Marquita, what you think about this. You know, there's I guess, a mentality that I think a lot of women have. Who she was the first. She had Greg first. She had Greg longer, and she was actually engaged. So, is there a sense of maybe entitlement? Like, I can still try to get with him. I can still try to see if this will work, regardless of the fact that he's in a relationship. How did that scene play out for you, Marquita?
That's that's a good question. I feel like, you know, what I think as far as entitlement, there was a little bit because she knows how they were together in the past. Like she knows what to do to trigger him or to, she knows what he likes and all of those things. So I maybe a little bit, but more so than anything, she doesn't know he's with someone else. Ariana doesn't know. So in her mind, it's a second chance. Like, I messed this up and I want to make this right because I was wrong. Like, everything, I knew I had the perfect person and I was literally just focused on myself and focused on my career. But then when that fell through, it's like, wow, I had the right person and I let it go. Let me try to get this back.
Yeah.
And it was more so, I'm thinking that's more so the motivation than not like arrogant or anything. It was just like, this is my chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did see the moment where Ari was like, I can tell, who is she? You wanted to know a little bit more about, you wanted to get that information from him. But Deji, I just got to hear from you in this moment, because that is probably a real thing. I think you really hit the nail on the head when it came to that, how men need to, they could have a great woman in front of
Yeah.
their face, a
Yeah.
woman who is like, Serena says she's all in, but
Yeah.
you still need to go back and make sure that there was nothing, that the door was closed. Talk to me about that, because I know so many people are wondering.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I don't think that's the general consensus. I think the general consensus is, if a man is in a relationship with a woman, then he has to be ready, and if he isn't ready, then it's his fault for not being ready, right? You got to be mature enough to understand that you're dealing with another individual. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to lie to her. All these different things. But at the same time, I think men are human, just like women are human. And I think men have emotions just like women have emotions. I've heard countless stories of women, needing closure. I've heard countless stories of women being confused as to if she's ready to take the next step with the man. And in all these stories, women tend to get an ear from everybody. Women tend to get the benefit of the doubt from their friends and from other men listening to what they have to say. Because it's an emotional state, and these emotions are valid. But I don't think for the most part, when it comes to men, we're not afforded in that arena the same benefit. We're not afforded that same thing, but we go through the same thing. We have the same type of emotions, we have the same type of feelings. And so I think what we wanted to showcase was that it's an even playing field. Men can feel a certain way the same way women can, and search for that closure the same way Greg has. I do want to ask a question though, because I did see a little debate on Twitter about giving the ring back. So this is a question for the ladies, Robin, Terry, and Marquita. If you're given a ring and the marriage doesn't happen, the engagement is broken off, do you return the ring, or is it a gift? I'm
I give
interested
the
to know
ring
that.
back. Give it back. I don't want the ring.
Okay.
I'll just say give it back. That's me. That's my stance. Ladies.
Marquita thinking about it. She don't want
Right.
I've never been in that situation, so I'm just thinking, like, I understand it. Like, if a man is like, I want my ring back, I understand. Like,
What if he does not ask? What is it? What if it's just up to you? Do you give it back or do you keep it?
if it
look at Thomas' face.
bad, I don't want anything from you. Like,
Yeah.
if you did something to me, please take everything. But if I think we may have a chance later, I may keep it for that to see if we ever get back together. But if it's, I'm generally like, when I'm done, I don't want nothing. So I don't.
Okay.
I've never been in that situation though.
Okay.
I feel that. All right, Terry, what do you think?
I think I kind of agree to give it back. I feel like egotistically, I want to keep it, but I'm the type of person to throw away J's after we break up. Like if we had matching J's and he brought me, like I'm throwing them in the trash or giving them away. So I feel like I probably would give it back.
Okay. Well,
Clean
I mean,
house.
and then clean house, right? And then it
Yeah, I
seems
gotta
like
know.
from the comments, I mean, because that was a good question, Deji, because the comments there, everybody's like, give it back, except I believe it was Elisa who said it depends on who broke off the engagement, because if he broke it off, then maybe it's a breach of contract.
There's a contract.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, that's a verbal contract, right? Thomas, I have to hear from you, because when Omar and Greg were working out, you were telling him, like, I mean, it was kind of a joke, but it was like, yo, she over there shopping for her dress. Like, did you think, and just do you think in general with that scene, of course, but just in general in life, that he has this woman, she found the ring, should he just go for it? Should he just commit, or do you understand, him saying, okay, it wasn't even for her, and let me just take my time with this, even though she is a good woman? What do you think?
Well, I understand both perspectives. Yeah, I mean, obviously, he didn't want her to find the ring. She found it. So now he has to tell her the truth if he has any respect for her and any respect for their relationship moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Messy boots. Oh my.
Messy. Yeah.
Somebody called
Regina
me
says
messy
messy
boots.
boots.
Somebody called me messy boots.
That's
Listen, I'm going to try to keep a straight face because that is funny. Listen,
funny.
I understand where he's coming from on the other end. Sometimes when men realize that this person could be the one, it's a little scary. And I know that might
Mm.
not make sense to women because women from the time they're you know toddlers,
Mhm.
they're Barbie dolls and doll have the wedding dresses and it's literally taught and it's not really taught to boys.
Mhm.
So when we're grown ups, people wonder why there's a difference in how women see marriage and how men see marriage. It's all about kind of like programming. And so I think when men realize, hey, this woman literally, I can't find anything wrong. I can't find anything that says no. The fear of that reality hits you like a ton of bricks.
Mm.
But if you have real friends and honest friends, especially Omar, who's going through a marriage, going through a divorce, custody battle, he's like, listen, I remember the good times. Although I'm going through some stuff now, the good times I wouldn't trade for anything. You have a good woman in front of you. You need to commit to this woman, and so I think that's where Omar's coming from.
Yeah, I hear that. I agree with you. But guys, why is it so hard for a man to, like, if he sees that he actually has a great woman, can't find anything wrong with her? Why is it so hard for a man to commit marriage? That is. Forget Greg and Omar. I'm talking to Deji and I'm talking to
I think
Thomas.
my Postmates is at the front door. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back.
Yo, hey Daisy, that was your post.
Don't
I
do
thought
that.
it was my post. Hold on.
He was like, no, my doorbell just rang too.
Yes, man.
Go ahead,
What a
T. Go ahead,
coincidence.
Thomas.
Yo, DG, yo, you a fool for this one. I would say, and I said this on the after show. I think that a lot of men get nervous because, being a bachelor means freedom, right? You're free to do whatever you want, live how you want. You can do whatever it is that you want to do without any judgments. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times when you are, in a relationship, um, it's a great thing. But a relationship is a relationship. A marriage is something totally different because that's lifetime. Relationship can be temporary. So I think anything that comes to lifetime commitments for a lot of men, it's not that we're scared of commitment, it's scared of not having the option of something else. So, a lot of women don't
Yeah.
understand that because, there might not be in our situation. And that's why they say men are from, women are from Venus, men are from Mars. I totally understand it. And it makes perfect sense, but at the same time, like, you know, this show is to try to bring some sort of like conversation like this to the table so we can talk about it and women can kind of get a perspective from us as opposed to just assuming that we're just scared of commitment. We're commitment phobes, as Danny Kennedy called Greg, I think, in a couple of episodes ago. Because when we realize that this woman is the one and we make that commitment, we know it's the right decision and it's the right choice.
And also too, I'm gonna just piggyback off of that too. I think with men, oftentimes, some men, situations are pressured into moving forward, into marriage. A lot of men want to move forward, but there are some men who are pressured. There are some men
Yeah.
who experience women starting to act a little different because they're not getting exactly what they want, or they're not taking that next step. So things in the relationship might change. There are some women who give men ultimatums as well,
True.
and I think there's only a couple of things that can really happen out of that kind of situation. One, he's either going to move forward and it could create problems later on because he might not have been ready, truly have been ready, or he might have some sort of resentment. But also, two, you might scare them away. You know what I'm saying? And I know men who have been in relationships for a long time, and then that relationship ends, and then they get married 6 months later. You know, so I think for men, really, it's about them feeling like they're truly ready. Now, what being ready means, you know, that's a whole other conversation. You know, I think it's different for every man. You know, it can be the fact that, you know, like Greg, he has somebody else who he truly hasn't let go. It can be, you know, he really wants to be in a place financially, you know, with business that he wants to get to before he moves forward. It could be a number of different things. But like one of the people said in the comments, when men know that they know, you know, and they will move forward. You know, the pressure and stuff like that, I think, can be detrimental sometimes to relationships.
Marquita, you definitely had your hand up. I mean, did you want to add something to this or have a question?
I think I kind of lost it, but it's something Thomas said though, about commitment. I don't know if the question was it just about marriage? Was it Greg committing to Serena, or was it about marriage? About your character?
My question? Yeah, I just wanted to know just in general about marriage, or were you directing that at times? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I lost it.
I think you raised your hand when Thomas said something about men not having any options. I think that was the moment you raised your hand.
Yeah, running out about not having.
Because you said something about commitment, but maybe I thought it wasn't marriage. I thought in general, like when you're dating or in a relationship.
Yeah, when you're in a relationship, it's temporary. You know, it could be temporary, but you know, a marriage is, you know, lifetime. That's the stakes are higher.
And so with the options, I think that's what I was thinking of. When you're dating or in a relationship, you feel like you still have options because you haven't gone through with the full.
Yeah.
Right.
And shout out to Derek's. We see you, Derek's. He says that it's not that men don't want to commit or are scared to commit. They are just we just want to make sure when we commit, we're ready to fully commit. And I totally get that. I totally understand. I want to backtrack a little bit to talk to you guys about that scene, the breakup scene. It was heartbreaking because, you know, I love love. But I want to get your perspective, and I have something that I want to say, and I can't fully go in because we don't know what these next 2 episodes are going to give us. But the issue that I have, Deji, let me just keep it real with you. The issue that I have is he kept it real. Greg said, this is what it is. This is what it was. Yeah. And although Serena was totally valid in what she feels, and she just felt like she was an afterthought pretty much, that you got into that relationship when you weren't fully committed. Now Greg is saying, but you're my world. You know, that, you know, he doesn't want to lose her. But she still said, you got to go back to your Airbnb. She still kicked him out, and, you know, so why? So the reason that didn't sit well with me is because I'm all about, you know, being honest, and it makes me feel as though maybe men who still want to put it out there are still losing. And I want people to win when they're honest. You know, that's just me, you know, a personal perspective. So hopefully he'll win, you know, and they'll win together as the show continues on. But what was the perspective there as far as, you know, having Serena still kicking him out, even though he kept it real?
So you're saying from a creative standpoint, since Greg was honest, you felt like he should have won in that situation. He should have been rewarded for being honest as opposed to punished for being honest.
Yeah, I don't know about rewarded. I feel though that because it would have been different had he left her on the cliffhanger, like, nah, I did date you and I did get into this relationship when I wasn't ready. Yeah. Deal with it. Like, that would have been different. But he said, but I now realize, right? I want you. You're my world. He's saying that. And so granted, it didn't start off the best, but now we're here, and he still wound up losing.
Listen, I think it's real life. You know, I think ultimately it's not a situation where we're trying to have a fairy tale ending where, you know, this guy tells the truth and everything is all good. I think in real life, this happens. You know, people say, tell the truth, tell the truth, tell the truth. But a lot of people won't respond well to what the truth is. If somebody, Robin, walked around and told you the truth every day about every single thing, you would be one pissed off individual walking around, right? If somebody told you exactly how they felt, what they were thinking, etc. obviously this is different. This is a relationship. You're in a committed relationship. But I think this is reality. You know, people are triggered to certain things. And I think ultimately Serena just was either super triggered or she just really wasn't hearing what Greg had to say. She wasn't listening, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons why Greg lied to begin with, is because all these other smaller lies that he told to lead to this point, he felt like she would react this way, you know, and take it to this extent. And so his objective was just to hopefully all of this goes away. He'll be in a situation where it's in the past, and unfortunately it didn't turn out that way.
Terry, do you root for Serena and Greg? Are you rooting for them just as Terry, as a viewer?
Oh, definitely.
Or are you like, you know what? No, Serena, good girl, bounce. Like, are you? Which one are you?
I think she's saying bounce. I think Terry's
You think so?
like,
Terry's saying bounce?
With Deji. Terry, as a viewer, is definitely rooting for them, but I think that Deji is correct. Like the beauty of the entire show and the script is that he wrote it from a standpoint where I felt like art is imitating life. And realistically, like I remember the guys kind of talking about like when you like while working, like we would get into debates and like one of them was like lying to protect someone. Like you feel like you're protecting the woman, but for the woman, it's actually doing more damage. And so I mean, I have no clue like what's next. I am rooting for them, but I also think that depending on the route in which they take, there has to be like some form of like healing and then like honest communication. I'm all for therapy in life. Like there are like other steps that have to be taken because trust has been broken. In terms of how I see it from Serena's perspective. But I have to say that I disagree with wanting her to keep him. I think that she, from my perspective, did the right thing in telling him to leave the way it was written, because I feel like more people can relate to that aspect and then maybe letting him come back in, because love can be difficult and messy at times and it's a fight and a struggle. But her putting her foot down felt like the right thing.
Robin, I just want to
yes,
add one thing. I'm sorry. I
sure.
also to just on a note as we get towards the end is for women to understand. It's not that men don't want to tell you the truth. It's sometimes men don't feel they can tell you the truth. And men like to avoid drama. They like to avoid emotional conversation. And obviously that's not realistic in a relationship. But a lot of times when some men, and I know me in particular, if I'm not telling you the truth, it's because I'm genuinely saying, hey, I know this could turn into something that it doesn't have to. So maybe if I don't say this, it will go away. Because it is, but also it's a note, hey, you know, for women to make sure that you are creating an environment for your man to feel he can tell you the truth. Because it's a two-way street.
Right, that's the thing. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to make sure I got that point.
You guys are, all of you are so right. All of you are right. And I'm right too. I mean, we're all right about it. We're all right. It's just about love. And I do feel like there's should be some, because you're right, Terry. Like she did do the right thing for her, right? And then there's other people who say, no, let's work it out. But in general, I do feel like there should be redemption for people. People should be able to redeem themselves in love. Again, we'll have to see. We'll have to keep watching. Obviously, we have people. I see all of you guys writing in your comments. Take those same comments over to Twitter and please tweet Johnson on Bounce. And the cast they're going to be watching the show right along with you guys, and they'll be answering your questions. Thank you, as always, to the viewers who are watching today. Make sure you come back next week for another episode. Y'all see how good these topics are. We could go in.
Let's go.
So we definitely appreciate you guys.
Yes,
2 episodes left.
Tonight, tune in, 8/7 Central right now. Bounce TV.
Yes. Hello from NYC. We see you. You guys, thank you so much. Marquita, I'm sure she had to go. Hello, Derek. We see you. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Deji, for joining me. As always, this has been a pleasure, and I look forward to tonight's episode. Y'all go watch right now.
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for your support, Michelle.
Thank you. Everybody. Love your comments. Thank you.